let's say that there's almost like two balls here that make up the bottom of the humerus. And then the ulna is almost like a hook that wraps around it. So if I drew these out separately, so here's the end of the ulna. This part over here, this whole part, is what makes up the elbow per se. There's a little bit of a divot for it to sit in there. Then here's the humerus. So this locks into there, like so. So our little Mr. Bonesy. So here it is. The ulna running all the way down the wrist. And this is the little hook-like area that I was talking about that kind of locks in. This is it from the angle I was drawing it at. You can see it probably a little clearer from the back. But this hinge just sort of clamps on there. Yeah, so I realized that I was drawing this piece almost like it was a profile. And when I try to draw the skeletal, when I'm drawing the bones here, instead of going from the actual figure and the basic volumes that would make up the arms, what I get out of this, the benefit that I find from drawing the bones of this, is that I realize that a lot of times if I'm drawing the skeleton inside incorrectly and the landmarks incorrectly, then I lay the muscles on incorrectly. And you might get it's possible to, let me find something that's squarish. What do I have here that would make a, what do I have that would make a good bone? I mean, a good muscle. I don't have something laying out that makes a good example, so let's just use this per se. So let's say that this is your bicep, and let's say that this is the bone that the bicep is attaching to. Now, if I draw it with the bone facing this way, then I may draw the bicep in subconsciously. I may not understand why I'm doing it, but I may draw the bicep facing out towards the viewer, when if really the bone is angled this way, then the muscle attached to it will be facing more of a profile. And these are little subconscious things that what'll happen is a lot of times we may draw the bone in the wrong direction, but the muscle in the correct direction, and then our drawing looks wonky and we don't understand why. So much in the same way that, like, you know, this comes back to kind of, in a way, it's kind of like perspective. When you draw something where you've got a horizon line and you're establishing that front is one way and top is another, but then you draw the elements so that they don't agree with it, you're like, this looks wonky, I don't understand why. Bones and muscles are the same way. If you draw the bones facing the correct direction, but the muscles facing the wrong direction, it may have the basic cylinder, the basic volume that the correct object has, but you'll look at the muscles and the bones, you're like, this looks weird, I don't understand why. So the direction of the landmarks and the direction of the actual muscular anatomy that's on top of it have to agree with each other. And that is where knowledge of both anatomy and perspective really come in handy. Because, you know, the hardest part, and the reason why I'm doing these drawings, is to diagnose things that I did wrong. And I'll tell you, when I'm looking at this drawing now, one of the things I did wrong is I don't think I really identified the landmarks in terms of what's happening with the elbows, with the elbow, and the connection to the humerus. And because of that, the muscles are just sort of like lumped on top of here. Instead of clearly saying the bicep is facing a sort of a 3/4 towards the front. And sometimes it's not necessarily a matter of exaggeration, but sometimes you do have to call out or enhance the fact that you're stating which way the bones are connecting, so that when you connect something else on top of it, they will all agree with each other. Because that disagreement, sometimes the disagreement is out of poor understanding of anatomy. Sometimes that disagreement is simply that you didn't make your statement clear enough. You didn't actually say, no, this is what the body is doing. This is the side of this figure. This is the front of this figure. And sometimes by leaving out details and trying to simplify things, we may leave too much open to interpretation.